Hey folks, how's it going? After a bit of a break following the Guild War, it's time to prep for the next one coming on November 6th, as well as for some more upcoming content. The next Northern fight is going to be Wind Favored, and we should be getting the Diaspora tier Siegfried sometime in early winter, so Wind is going to get some love this Magnafest. Following that, I still need to figure out something to farm Mugen with, since my current setup without Defense Awakening Schrodinger's and the Majesty skill from the War Foundation weapon isn't doing all that good. Going by the release timeline they've shown us in the last stream, we should be getting the new Arcarum Gaiden event in autumn, and following the event, the new sandbox update, which is one more reason to want to be done with the current missions. After that, the Siegfried level fight coinciding with the first wave of the Evoker 5 stars. Sandbox is something that I've been heavily neglecting, and the Evoker uncaps are looming like a sword of Damocles over my neck. They're going to have the same release type as the Eternal Transcendencies, and I'm fairly afraid when it comes to the uncapped requirements. I think it would be safe to assume that we'll need the respective new War Foundation weapons fully uncapped, and there's a chance we might need the domains as well. After that, there will be more grind for the uncap itself, likely related to the Arcarum Gaiden event, and to top it all off, it's probably going to cost another Evolite. They've promised they would let us know the required materials beforehand, but I don't think it's going to hurt to be as prepared as possible. Wave 1 is going to open with Maria Theresa and Kame, with Nier following them in Wave 2. I wanted to go for the Tower's Hammer followed by the Star's Gun, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to reroute those mats, just in case the uncap brings a further boost for the backline skills. Working on Justice's sword is also fairly appealing since it brings a nice Majesty skill, and the extra healing would be nice in anything that's not Mugen. Still, I don't play water that much, and unless I want to swap the elements I run Super Ultimate Bahamut with, I think I can work on her later. So, after a not so quick round of counting mats and fighting with Epesh Office who didn't want to recognize a simple Stamif function, the materials needed to max out 2 weapons plus domains come out as a bit of a nightmare. Thankfully, Kame and Nier share both Zone Goliath and Zone Kalemde, so after finishing the boss slayer missions on the first, I can focus on the second one for the 270 Terra Lusters, over 400 Veritas and around 200 Ideans of both types. After finishing with Kame, I can move on to Zone Yoculator to farm for Nier and Maria, and then we'll see what the next year will bring. I think this might take between 3 to 4 months for Kame alone, and I can only hope to have a decent amount of leftovers to complete Nier on time by the time she comes out in February or March. If I can manage to uncap Maria as well, afterwards I will likely lock myself into Zone Nvidia for Gessenboger and Fro, but we're talking about May or June 2023, so it's far too early to worry about that. Next in the farmable list are the Eternal Transcendencies, and the highest priority at the moment is likely going to be Siete. His Omen cancellation is locked behind his level 150, so this is going to be another long journey. I don't think I'll be going mad sliming him like I did for Neon. We have 2 months to farm experience, and I need a lot of Arcarum. When it comes to mats, I'm only a bit short on his level 140 uncaps and some of the endgame mats for the 150. Omega 1 long animas should be easily farmable next month if we get another Rise of the Beast rerun that brings the horse trains back to life again. The lusters I will need from Arcarum bosses, and EVR raids shouldn't be that bad, not with the Guild War coming soon and people wanting to upgrade their AX skills. The endgame raid mats are also a bit of a non-issue since I can mostly solo them, and worst case scenario, there's tenacity loot. The one item that's a bit worrisome is the blue paper. Siete is going to eat 2 Lapis Merits, leaving me with just 1 left until the next Guild War comes around, so I could bring someone else up to 130 or bring 6 or Octo from 130 to 150. To be honest, I'm not that invested in Earth, so I'm in no rush to level up Trio or Octo further. The main toss-up would be between 6 150, Song 130 and TN 130. And I think I might go for the TN upgrade this time around. After the Win Guild War, we should be en route for the Fire one, and I might get her up to 150 for it. All I need right now are 500 more White Dragon scales, but that's just a few hours of campaign quest. Another series of big upgrades would be the Ultima weapons. Thanks to a light team that's held together mainly by a bit of duct tape, I've somehow managed to get my Ultima Katana up to ULB, and it's been pretty helpful for Kengo memes. Still, I need to uncap more of these. An Ultima Spear would have been a godsend for the last Guild War, and it's likely going to be a pretty nice piece to use for the win favorite one. The Feast would be nice for the usual Lucha teams, and I've been seeing a lot of axes around lately. I'm going to need to cross-check which teams and elements can make the best use of these, and that will likely be its own video. For now, all I see is a lot of Super Ultimate Bahamut runs. When it comes to rolling, my last spark went as it went. I'm glad I got Magisa and Red, but still kind of sad for new characters were all I got from it. The next time I'll be touching the gacha is likely going to be during the Christmas roulette. If they do the standardized one with Gachapin, they might rig it again to give 90 draws on Flash and 90 more on Legfest, which means I will only need 420 draws for another double spark. That was pretty damn hype. Fingers crossed they will bring it back again. When it comes to spark targets, the Flash Fest on December 15th has got to have my second Pain and Suffering and possibly a second Harmonia as my top picks, followed by Nehan. If I manage to get one Uni Hub and two Nehan Hubs, I will only be one Sunstone away from going Zeus. When it comes to the New Year Gala, it will be the year of the rabbit, so that's going to be the top priority, followed by a possible playable EWR, which should be released before the Guild War, but I want their rolls to spare for, as well as the usual missing grants. I would love to be able to consider an earlier spark for Christmas characters, but the prospect of getting a third of a spark for free twice is just too juicy to pass on. In case Gachapin doesn't leave the new Christmas characters under my tree, there's always the anniversary ticket. Lastly, after almost 130 days, we finally got another Subtix back up, this time with a pretty long list of new releases as well. Of course, I would advise to wait until the free draws are over before buying it, since no one wants to get duped like that, unless it's a show feast. This time around, the choices for me are quite a few. Beatrix isn't needed, but I would still like to get her. Satyr would help a lot my other teams, especially when it comes to hosting Diaspora. Ella brings more charge attack supplemental and makes Win Kango a lot better. Gwyn would have been great for the Guild War, but that's past now. Yu is really damn cute. Helest is one of the two standard banner characters I'm still missing, and she's pretty decent as well. But I don't want to spend a surprise ticket on her, and using rolls on the classic gacha feels like a bit of a waste when there's so many more standard characters I'll still need. Elmot should be pretty good for the Fire Guild War, which should come after this Wind one, but that would be in February, so we will have the roulette in between. I still don't have Eliza, and I would very much like to get her before she's thrown in the classic pool. Pengi is another character that's been haunting my wish list for a while. And then we have Show. That Feast has become meta for a Zeph Wind Burst, but you need 2 or 3 of them and I'm not really that invested. To top it off, it needs to be paired with Halloween Bane's Creepy Claws, and that's a banner I've never spent many rolls on. Also, never sparked on it since so close to Christmas and the roulette. The last 2 character nominees go to Kupitan and Azusa, both very fun characters that have been in my wishlist since their release, but keep eluding me. Another thing to consider for the surprise ticket would be summons, because somehow I can't seem to get the HP boosting one, mainly Artemis and Zirnitra. Artemis would be great for Super Ultimate Bahamut since light is the element I feel most comfortable running the raid with, and that's not even considering the Echo Call. Zirnitra, on the other hand, would help a lot for endgame solos on my, I guess, main now element. If I decide to get one though, I'm going to have to give up on stoning Summer Belial as well as farming for the blue skin. I think I will go for either Elia or Artemis, but again, I'll wait for the free draws to be over first. Alright then, that's going to be it for me for the moment. A quick trip to the campaign quest, and it's off to the Arcarum Mines for me. As always, thanks a lot for watching, let me know what's on your farming list for this fall, and see you soon. Ciao!